Well, here now in a Kelly File exclusive, former presidential candidate and former Trump campaign advisor, Dr. Ben Carson, a man who found himself in dozens of headlines today. Dr. Carson, thanks for joining us tonight. Thank you for your time.
A pleasure, Sandra.
The last I looked, you were trending on Twitter. Why? Because there's been some conflicting headlines out there today about you, sir, about whether or not you are going to accept a role in the Trump administration. Where do you stand on that?
Well, you know, it's rather amusing to me as I sit back and see all the things that people say I've said. And
I'm going to throw some of those at you, by the way.
I haven't said any of them or done any of them. You know, it's been pretty amusing. But you know, we did in fact have a discussion about things that needed to be done in this country, and what the various options were, whether I could do it from inside the government or outside the government. And, you know, there are a lot of things that were put on the table, and I'm thinking about them. I've had so many people calling me today from both sides. I've had Democrats calling me saying, what an opportunity to fix, you know, things that haven't been fixed for decades.
Well, it sounds, Dr. Carson, like you're saying you need to be convinced, because some of those things that I said, I was going to quote you as well, is that your confidant, Armstrong Williams, told The Hill Dr. Carson feels he has no government experience. He's never run a federal agency. The last thing he would want to do is take a position that could cripple the presidency. But then now we get a tweet from you today saying that you're going to have an announcement soon, as sort of a hint that you will be accepting a position.
Well, you know, that was one of the funny things, the quote that you just had from Armstrong Williams. You know, he did an article in The Hill completely refuting that, but no one wanted to talk about that. You know, he was just sort of talking off the cuff about people who haven't spent their lives in government. But he went back and clarified that. But nobody wants to talk about that. You know, the fact of the matter is, you know, every job is very important. But in terms of complexity, I can guarantee you that very little of it comes close to neurosurgery, and particularly complex neurosurgery. And these things can easily be acquired, and you can put people around you who know all the little details about something that happened 56 years ago. You know, that's not important. What's important is being able to take the information and process it and come up with wise solutions that solve problems. That's what this is going to be about. And it's going to be very different than your typical administration, because Donald Trump, as a businessman, believes very much like surgeons do. You take the evidence and you make your decisions based on the evidence, not ideology.
And there's a lot of decision-making being done on your part as well, by the way, and this is a huge consideration, a huge responsibility. Housing and Urban Development has a nearly $50 billion budget, 8,400 employees. Critics of Donald Trump, critics of the decision to possibly include you and make you the Secretary of HUD, Dr. Carson, say he doesn't have the experience to do this. What do you say back to them?
I would say, look at all the people in Washington who've had the experience. What a fine job they've done. I guess that's why Donald Trump got elected. That's what I would say to them.
Fair enough. What do you make of some of these more recent picks? There's been a lot of criticism that he's lacking diversity in his cabinet picks so far, but today announced South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who was a very vocal critic of Donald Trump along the way, saying he was one of the angriest voices in politics. And then Betsy DeVos. What do you make of these picks?
You know, he's gonna run the government the very same way that he runs the Trump empire. You find people who are extremely competent, not people who are your buddies and your friends and people that you owe a favor to, but people who you believe actually share your vision and have the ability and the track record of being able to get things done. That should be something that's comforting to people. And I know a lot of people say, no, you should go with your cronies, you should go with the people who supported you. But that's not going to solve our problems. That's what's been done in the past. We need something different now. Is
Mitt Romney a good pick for Secretary of State? Some of your Republican colleagues, Newt Gingrich notably, Mike Huckabee, have sort of slammed that as a choice for Donald Trump.
Well, I would say that, you know, he has said some pretty inflammatory things. And I think maybe in private he has told Donald Trump that, I take that back. I don't believe that anymore. I really never believed that it was in the heat of the moment. He probably needs to say that more publicly, and I think a lot of the strife would dissipate at that point.
All right. So when should we expect some sort of decision on your part? The offer's on the table. Is that fact?
The offer is on the table, and there are a lot of other possibilities that we're considering. We're considering which is the way that I can be most effective. Okay. So that information should come out in the next few days. We'll make a public announcement.
All right. We will look for it. Dr. Ben Carson, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thank you.